the cold muzzle of a pistol pressed firmly against the side of Marcus Reed's head. The trigger trembled under the finger of a red-faced officer who had stopped him just moments ago for what he called a suspicious lane change. Marcus didn't flinch. He stood still, calm, composed, suit crisp, eyes steady, a man who carried the weight of countless battles fought in silence. The officer snarled, "Don't move, boy. Who do you think you are?" Marcus locked eyes with him, voice like granite. "Call the president." Before we continue, if you are watching our video for the first time, you're highly welcome to ELLIOT Stories. Please bless and support us by hitting that subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell to get notified for more edifying stories coming your way tomorrow and never to miss any. Share to friends who love stories filled with twist and morals and loved ones who love respect and justice no matter the cost. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story travels. And to other beautiful and hard-working YouTubers, let's interact in the comment section. I hope to see you soon. Now, a special appreciation to our unique constant viewers, our high-esteemed subscribers, our lovely new viewers, and our first-time subscribers for being part of our growth. Just 3 minutes earlier, Officer Blake Hannity had cruised his patrol car to a halt behind Marcus' midnight black Mercedes. The man behind the wheel was black, well-dressed, and seemingly out of place in this wealthy New Hampshire suburb. "License and registration," Blake barked, eyes scanning for any sign of threat. Marcus handed over his documents without a word. Everything was in order. Still, Blake didn't back down. He circled the car like a shark, muttering into his radio. Then he told Marcus to step out. "For what?" Marcus asked coolly. "You don't get to ask questions. Step out, now." Marcus sighed. The neighborhood had gone still. A jogger across the street stopped. Curtains rustled. But no one intervened. Blake drew his gun. And now here they were. "You think you're above the law, huh?" Marcus said nothing. His pulse remained steady. "On your knees." Blake roared. Still, Marcus didn't budge. "I said." "Call the president," Marcus repeated. Blake laughed, a cruel, dismissive chuckle. "Oh, we got ourselves a comedian. What are you, some fake agent? You want me to believe you know the president?" Marcus didn't blink. Blake's radio crackled. "Unit 47, what's your 20? Possible code 57. Need backup," Blake replied, never taking his eyes or weapon off Marcus. But just then, a black SUV pulled up behind the police cruiser. 2 men in dark suits stepped out briskly. Blake's eyes widened. "Secret Service." "Sir," one agent said to Marcus, completely ignoring the officer with the gun. "Are you all right? The president is expecting your call." Blake stumbled backward, gun still raised but now shaking. "Put the weapon down, Officer Hannity," the other agent commanded. Blake froze, struggling to process what was happening. "Now!" The officer lowered his weapon, face drained of color. Marcus brushed his sleeve, straightened his tie, and finally spoke, "I'm Marcus Reed, National Security Advisor. And you just made the worst mistake of your career." The Secret Service cuffed Blake on the spot. Not because Marcus asked them to, but because protocol demanded it. The news exploded hours later. Breaking, National Security Advisor threatened at gunpoint by local cop. A video from a doorbell camera across the street had captured everything. Within moments, social media ignited with rage and debate. But this was no ordinary headline. It was the beginning of something far greater. 3 days later, Marcus stood before a packed federal courtroom. Blake Hannity sat slumped in chains. But Marcus wasn't there to condemn him. "Not yet. Your Honor," he began, "I could speak of power, of credentials, of positions held. But none of that would matter if I had been anyone else that day." He paused. The room held its breath. "I didn't survive that encounter because I was important. I survived because I stayed calm. Because the right people were watching. But what if they hadn't been? What if I had flinched?" Whispers rustled through the courtroom. "This isn't about one bad cop," Marcus continued. "It's about a system where judgment is handed down before a word is spoken. Where skin color becomes probable cause." He turned to Blake. "You were afraid. Not of me, but of the story you wrote in your head the moment you saw me. And that fear nearly pulled a trigger." Blake looked down, his face twisted in confusion and shame. "This is not justice through revenge. It is justice through reckoning. Through truth. Marcus finished his statement and Saturday. The courtroom erupted in applause. The judge, moved by the address, ordered a full federal investigation into racially motivated traffic stops across the country. But Marcus wasn't done. He took a leave of absence from the White House to travel the country, meeting with families affected by police brutality, young officers struggling to confront their biases, and communities seeking healing. He created the 5 Words Initiative, named after the phrase that changed his life, "Call the President." The program trained officers to recognize implicit bias, provided psychological support, and most importantly, encouraged citizen advocacy. It didn't fix everything, but it started conversations in places long silent. In one town, a white officer knelt beside a crying black teenager who had been stopped for loitering. He apologized, genuinely, and took off his badge that day, admitting he wasn't fit to serve. In another, a group of mothers, black, white, Asian, Latino, gathered weekly to share fears and solutions, inspired by Marcus' journey. One night, months later, Marcus stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Behind him, a crowd of thousands. He raised the mic. They asked me what gave me the strength to stay calm that day. It wasn't training. It wasn't status. It was a promise I made to my mother the night she died. She said, "Never let them steal your peace, Marcus. Because peace is power." A hush fell. The power to walk with your head high. To speak with clarity. To believe that justice can be more than just a word. He raised his fist. The crowd followed. Officer Blake Hannity served 2 years for assault and misconduct. Upon release, he voluntarily joined the 5 Words outreach program as a counselor, warning others never to follow in his footsteps. He met Marcus again, years later. "I don't expect you to forgive me," he said quietly. Marcus nodded. "But I already did. Because healing is louder than hate." And in that moment, on a rainy afternoon outside a Virginia school where they had just spoken to a group of kids about justice, something extraordinary happened. A young boy ran up, hugged them both, and said, "You make me believe we can all get better." Marcus smiled. "That's the dream, son. That's the dream." Moral lesson. This story teaches us that justice begins with calm courage and continues with accountability. It reminds us that prejudice, unchecked, becomes a weapon, but that forgiveness, when earned, can be a bridge. We must not judge others based on appearance, and we must recognize that every moment of injustice is a chance to make something better. This story was humbly crafted and brought to you by ELLIOT Stories. Catch you on the next one. Huge appreciation from ELLIOT Stories.